Toastmaster Sanjukta, speech title, title needs time. Speech title needs time, Toastmaster Sanjukta. Over to you.
Thank you. Yes, I can see the timer's screen and I see the timings are also fine. 364,000 members in about 16,200 clubs around the globe. And they are trying to achieve something like at least 13 projects across 5 levels to be proficient in a path. That's pathways. What about that? Every one of us Toastmasters, we are supposed to be moving towards that. I am no different. However, each one of us would like to think, and so I would too, I am Maggi tomato ketchup. It's different. Now, when I did this path, that was not enough. I did the same set of minimum of 13 projects, 5 levels earlier too. That was my first path. When I joined Toastmasters, I was just like that pit bull puppy. I love speaking. There are so many speeches to give, and I can also meet people. I love Toastmasters. I was enthusiastic. The Bong Express went ahead. I think we had the shortest path algorithm of pathways that I had, that I finished my projects just before people could even yawn and get up from my speeches, because I never did construct them in the right way. I shared. It was motivating, but it was never always structured the way we are used to. However, why did I pick up this first path? Because when I decided to do my second path, I am Maggi tomato ketchup, and it's different. Now, this whole lifetime as a Toastmaster, in a single speech, the speech title, it needs time. Good afternoon, presiding officer, my dear evaluator, Toastmasters, and future storytellers. Why did I mention about my first path? The first path was what motivated me to my current path, which is persuasive influence. I decided that I need to choose my perspective to get the usefulness out of this path. And there were quite a few. When I was giving my icebreaker, I thought, this is my second path. So what next? I'll give a few speeches. The speech title, it takes time because you need to construct speeches well. So I decided, the pit bull pup in me, to have a little bit of water, calm down, and get trained. I started observing my mentors. I realized that yes, I may be an enthusiastic speaker, but what I speak and when I should speak and how I should share is what matters. In that 5 to 7 minutes, you have to construct and give out the key aspects so that you can share the goodness that you want to. That's the first thing that I decided to imbibe. It was not that difficult because my second objective was already there, which was a mixture. It was the foundation of leadership, which meant mentoring your co-Toastmasters, your team. Now, the second aspect, mentoring. is not really from the books. It's about experience. It's about persuading. It's about influencing. And how you persuade, influence perceptions. You mentor someone to think, look at the positives of what you are sharing, and help them achieve for themselves. That is what I imbibed. I have been doing leadership since the beginning of Toastmasters because I am Maggie Tomato Ketchup and it's different. Leadership itself is different. However, mentoring is the core of leadership and you need to imbibe it always. You have to go on moving ahead as a mentor. That is what I decided to use in my second path, to learn how to maintain perceptions, how to evolve the perceptions to make people listen to me, how to manage audience, how to manage conflicts. That is what I started learning. While I was doing this, all in all, it was happening in a very unique year. That's 2020. Hence, my perspective of all this was very holistic. It was to always share positivity, no matter what. And most of my speeches, if you see, if you have heard, were always at least showing how to stay positive in this year. For example, that PIP approach that I showed, where I shared slides, where I took the effort from that psychological concept that if you change your focus, you can stay positive. That's what was the inline intent that I had during this path. Coming back to my mentorship, or coming back to my third thing or objectives. It is not just the third thing, it has been my intent. It is to use whatever I'm learning in Toastmasters around me, not just in the Karadi Toastmasters Club meeting or the Bilasoft Toastmasters Club meeting, but around. So when I'm mentoring, when I'm managing a team, my team can be my family, it can be my friends, it can be all of you, it can be other fellow Toastmasters, and it can be my team at work. The power of mentoring, the way or the process of mentoring that has been shared in Toastmasters pathways, when I used that in my team at work, I saw that they got motivated. I used the CRC approach. I told them where they were wrong through the CRC approach. And I have got a feedback that Sanjukta, the way you explain to us, it motivates us to correct ourselves. We don't get demotivated. It has the effect. And that's why I am brand loyal to Toastmasters. You can share it and it does improve. Believe me, my manager, my immediate manager, I have had strong discussions with him where I made use of conflict management, which I learned. And at the end of the conversation, he says, Sanjukta, I think Toastmaster is doing you good. You're now a better listener and you are not reacting. You are sharing. I think you can continue in Toastmasters. And that's why from now on, when we go back to work, I think I can join my Toastmasters meeting by telling him I'm going to my Toastmasters meeting. So that's the power that Toastmasters give you. And this is a voluntary thing that you're doing. But why are you doing it? Why do you think those 364,000 people with you are doing it? Because it gives you the power to go and make yourself a better, visible person in the world, not just in Toastmasters. So the last but the most important thing that I went on banging on in this path was the last question that you have in any evaluation that you do in your Pathways project. How do you think is this relevant outside Toastmasters? And I think right now I can say blindly that yes, it is always relevant. There were so many memories that I created. Now, initially, again, I'm going back to my first path. When I was in my experience in my first path, as I told you, everything was out of enthusiasm. I gave very little time to stop and think. I did leadership at clubs. I did mentoring of clubs. I created clubs. I became sponsors. But all that I did with more enthusiasm and definitely with a lot of integrity. But probably I did not think how it could be useful to me. I just came here to do the networking then. It is only in this second path that I stopped. I listened to how others are doing things. And I saw, I observed, and then I jotted down. Let me do this. Let me give back to Toastmasters also. That is how, through the coaxing of my mentors, of my mentees, of other leaders, I took up leadership positions in Toastmasters. Again, it's a very easy thing because when I'm an area director, I am using my learnings of persuasive influence. I am managing conflicts. I am going ahead and managing teams. I am doing each and every one of those steps that I'm learning. So that means I'm getting the platform to practice and to become better. And also, in a way, showing people like you all, how this learning can be useful to you all. One thing I realized that as a Toastmaster, I came in as a pit bull pup. I was enthusiastic and I was always jumping around. Then I get trained. I became a young, enthusiastic dog. I'm not using the other word, the feminine word. It probably will not be good in this meeting. And then, of course, I became a person who also helped, a service dog. So it makes a difference. And I am going to stay as a Toastmaster with my third path soon. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.